Very quickly going to describe how this guide is set up. The video is split into chapters for each boss. You can find them down below. The first chapter will describe the boss fight mechanics and each of the important abilities. The second chapter will be role-specific duties. Rik Reverb. This is a single phase fight with a brief intermission when the boss reaches 100 energy. The main thing to be aware of here is the boss will place amplifiers around the arena. These have a charge bar above them, and the raid needs to keep draining them to prevent them from fully charging. The intermission consists of running to different amplifiers to avoid the boss's deadly ring ability. Phase 1. The boss will need to be continuously moved around the arena. He will use Amplification, which places an amplifier underneath of him and somewhere else in the arena. These amplifiers have a bar above them which shows their charge level, and if it fills completely, it will do massive raid damage. If the boss is close to one of these amplifiers, he will cause it to charge faster, so he needs to stay away. In order to drain an amplifier, players must interact with them. While draining, players will suffer damage every second, so make sure you pop a defensive. Each of these amplifiers, in general, pulses raid damage every 2 seconds, so healers should keep that in mind as the amount of amplifiers increases. The boss will also use Echoing Chant. This will send out multiple sound waves from each amplifier, and they need to be dodged. He will occasionally use Sound Cannon, which targets a random player with a large frontal cone. His final attack is Faulty Zap. This places circles around random players, dealing damage, so just keep spaced out. For tanks, each melee hit by the boss applies a stacking debuff. You'll want to taunt swap around 7 to 9 stacks, depending on the amount of damage. Also note that the boss's melee attacks hit in a frontal cone, so keep the boss facing away from the raid. Phase 1's abilities. Amplification. This deploys an amplifier underneath of the boss's current location and at another random location. Amplifiers. These gain power over time and need to be drained. They inflict damage to players that are draining them. Each amplifier also pulses raid damage every 2 seconds. Echoing Chant. Sound waves will radiate out from the amplifiers. These waves apply a 6-second dot that can stack. Sound Cannon. This targets a random player with a cone attack. Faulty Zap. This is shown by a circle around random players. It deals damage over 12 seconds. It also applies a debuff, increasing damage taken by 75% for 12 seconds. Sonic Blast. All melee hits are a frontal cone attack and apply a stacking debuff which increases damage taken for 10 seconds. The Intermission. Once reaching 100 energy, the boss begins Hype Hustle. The boss will shield himself and fly up into the air, activating one of the amplifiers with a blue ring. The raid must run to this amplifier before the boss uses his blaring drop. He will smash into the ground, sending out a ring which is lethal. Before that ring reaches players, the amplifier that is activated will explode, knocking players up and over top of that ring, thus avoiding the damage. Find the next activated amplifier and continue until the intermission ends. Phase 1 will then resume. Just a note, if Rik reaches a third Hype Hustle, it results in a wipe. So it is a little bit of a DPS race. Intermission's abilities. Sound Cloud. This shields the boss, reducing all damage taken by 99%. Blowout. An amplifier goes haywire and knocks players into the air, granting them immunity from the blaring drop ring. Blaring drop. The boss slams into the ground, sending out a sonic wave from his location, which deals fatal damage. Hype Fever. This is triggered on the third intermission and wipes the raid. Role-specific duties. Tanks. Keep the boss facing away from the raid. Keep the boss away from amplifiers. Swap around 7 to 9 stacks unless that damage feels a little too high for you. Healers. The raid takes increasing damage per active amplifier. Players draining amplifiers will take increased damage. During the intermission, each knock-up from an amplifier will deal a burst of raid damage. DPS. Make sure you stay behind the boss. Use defenses when you're draining amplifiers. Don't drain an amplifier if you're hit with the Faulty Zap due to the 12-second debuff. Alright, you're good to go. Shout out to these channel members. If this video helped them, press the thumbs up. Subscribe if you enjoy WoW content. I have plenty of guides, tips and tricks, podcasts, and more. You can show extra support by becoming a channel member. It's 99 cents a month and gives you early ad-free access to all my videos. Check out my store for exclusive Prefessional merch. I'll see you in the next one.